Who believed in you before you believed in yourself? For me, it was the women who saw something in me when I was just starting out. 20 years and 5 businesses later, I'm still here because they lifted me up when I needed it most. I'm Tania Gomez, and this is She Shapes Tomorrow, brought to you by Tania Gomez Consulting and Kismet, proudly sponsored by SN Services. Every episode, we sit down with women who are changing lives, building communities, and raising up the next generation. Women who'll remind you what's possible when we stop trying to do it alone. This year's International Women's Day theme is Give to Gain, and these stories will show you exactly what that looks like. Let's get into it. Welcome to She Shapes Tomorrow. I'm your host, Tania Gomez, and today I'm joined by the amazing Dr. Heena Sinha from My Second Home and Simple AI. Dr. Heena Sinha Cheung is a multi-award-winning entrepreneur, author, and community leader who brings together lived experience, business acumen, and a vision for meaningful change. She's the founding director of My Second Home, a thriving NDIS-registered SIL provider, and co-founder of Simple AI, where she helps providers streamline compliance and operations through innovative technology solutions. In 2025, she also launched My Safe Circle, an initiative to empower children and families with tools to prevent childhood sexual abuse, including her debut book, My Safe Circle, Learning to Protect Ourselves. Heena is a recipient of the Women Changing the World Award 25 and an honoree in Australia's 40 Under 40 and a Rising Star Oz Mumpreneur. Wow, I don't know if you could fit in any more awards in there, Heena.
Thank you, Tania. I'm really excited and deeply honored to be here with you today. And for me, Shaping Tomorrow is about, not just awards and stuff. I believe all these awards are basically my way of telling other survivors that, our past does not define who we are or who we can become. So I'm really honored to be here today with you. And I'm sure there are more awards which we can fit in.
Yes, yeah, I'm sure you've got a lifetime full of awards to come in the future. Heena, you've been open about the fact that your leadership wasn't shaped through traditional pathways. It was shaped through some incredibly painful experiences, as well as moments of deep purpose and rebuilding. I'd love to start by giving you space to the parts of your story that shaped your strength, your empathy, and the fire behind everything that you do. When you reflect on that part of your life now, what was the moment that you felt the shift from silence to strength?
So the shift didn't just arrive it wasn't a switch that just got flipped. It arrived like in the quiet moments when I realized that my silence was actually not protecting me, but it was protecting the broken systems. Speaking up for me wasn't about being brave. Like, that was the only option that I had. It was about survival. And the first time I used my voice, my body knew before I did it that, this is the path that I have to take. And once you taste that freedom, if you've been in the blocked area for your entire life, and once you taste that freedom, you can't return to silence. So for me, talking about my abuse, advocating for myself, for my sister, and slowly increasing my advocacy, it took time. And once I knew that the positive impact it was creating, I just couldn't stop it.
Do you mind taking us through, I guess, where this all started and what the background is? What exactly has occurred in your life to give you this strength and this empathy?
So at the age of 13, I was introduced to childhood sexual abuse for the first time. I did not know what was happening to me. It was very, very uncomfortable. And I lived many years thinking that it was my fault, thinking that maybe I did something and that's why it has happened to me. But when I realized that it's not common, like this is not supposed to happen to any child, that kind of made me think that, oh, why are people doing this? And clearly people who commit abuse against other, they lack empathy towards that person. And we see in today's day and world so many violent crimes, so many abusive situations that people have to deal with. It often happens because there's lack of empathy in the person who's committing those crimes. So for me, growing up from that abusive childhood and coming out, I knew one thing, that regardless of whichever position I'm working in, I want to be an empathetic leader. I want to feel and understand how the other person is feeling due to the actions that I do. So it all began by just leaving the country where I was abused, coming overseas, starting from scratch where there's no preconceived notions, and slowly shaping my career to help other people. At the time when I came, I didn't know where I was going to be. I knew I'd come here to do my master's, but every step I took, even the volunteer work, even peer support work with South Sudanese communities or helping other international students, it all came from one place: is helping others and being empathetic. And everything that went on, empathy has been the moral compass that I follow to ensure that my actions or my team's actions or anything that we do in this world helps other people. And yes, it might sound very broad, but if you look me up, that's what I do basically, whether it's in my second home, whether it's through Simple AI, through my safe circle, is to help people live the best version of their lives. So it began from being helpless, and it started from not having a voice to then becoming a person who creates safe spaces for others to have their voice.
Yeah. And you have many ventures, right? You have lots of different ventures that you're working on. Out also, you've talked about your disability business, your Simple AI. You're also forming a political party, and you do lots of different things. How do you decide when an idea that you have actually becomes a mission worth pursuing?
That's a very good question, because every day I believe I have like 10 different new ideas and I'm like, oh my God, yes, let's do it. But I think an idea becomes a mission when it refuses to leave my head. Because, sometimes you have like flickering ideas, and then some of the ideas are the one where you can't sleep because you're just thinking about it so much. And when you get that feeling that by pursuing that idea, it's not just one person's ambition, it's kind of like my responsibility. And then I feel like by pursuing that idea, I'm going to create a community where people are actually taking action to have a safer community for us, and then that idea becomes worth pursuing. And I often say that if your idea is, you know if 10 people are not laughing at you on your idea, it's probably not big enough. So when I discussed the idea initially with people, and people are like, oh, political party, are you sure? And I'm like, yes, definitely, I'm sure. Because when people say, oh, you can't do it, or this is too big, or you're trying to reach too high, then I think that kind of motivates me as well to pursue it more. And just showing other survivors, because let's be honest, 1 in 4 of us have been sexually abused as a child. And just showing other survivors that sky is literally the limit. So when an idea like that comes to me, I'm like, yes, I'm definitely going ahead. And the more harder it gets, it's kind of a sign for me that, it is hard because it's worth pursuing. Anything worth pursuing is not going to be easy. Anything worth having is not going to just come on a silver platter. So the more hard it is, I feel it's a must that I should pursue. And I also often see the impact that it's going to create, and then I'm like, okay, yes, I can see the work which is going to be done around it, and then I decide, okay, yes, let's just go ahead with it.
Is there a time frame that you give yourself for ideas before figuring out if they stick, or do you just, is it like how intense that idea is? Is it that you only pursue ideas that make you not want to sleep? Like, how do you, I also have lots of ideas, right? And I don't pursue all of them because there's just not enough time. I do have a, future list of things for, one day, but how do you decide which ones get the attention? Is it how intensely you're feeling about it, how much impact it's going to make, or just that you can't get it out of your brain?
I think it's the intensity of the idea and impact that it's going to make, because if I can't see a future, if I can't envision the impact of it, it usually dies down pretty easy. Because, let's be honest, we're moms, we're business owners, we have so much going on. But if it's so intense and you can clearly see the impact that it's going to make, then I'm like, yes, this is something that I really want to do. And then it often leads to sleepless nights, because when you go lie down on your bed, and if you haven't worked on that idea, your mind is still working. And it's like, oh my God, I really need to do this because this is going to change people's lives.
Yeah. I listened to a podcast recently. I can't remember. It was a Diary of a CEO, but I can't remember the guest names. But he had over 80 businesses in his life. And he's a young guy who's 36, and he has 50 businesses at a time. And he said that he gives a business idea. If he's still thinking about it, still haunting him 2 weeks later, he starts pursuing it in a small way. He'll do some split testing. He'll talk to some people about it. And if he's still thinking about it a month later, then he actually actions something. And he actions all different random types of businesses. And I'd never actually, lots of people in my life have told me to focus, choose one thing, do one thing, be good at one thing. And I feel like there are lots of things that I'm good at, but to other people, they might see completely random and completely unrelated. And I feel that's very much like you. If you look from the outside, you've got a disability business, an AI business, you're writing books around sexual abuse or preventing sexual abuse, and you've got a political party. They don't seem highly related, but to you, it seems like you're really good at going, well, this just serves my mission to keep people safe. And all of these things amplify that mission.
Absolutely. Because you're right. Because often when people ask me to introduce myself, like, those networking events, and people ask me, hey, what do you do? And I'm like, okay, where do I start? And it's hard to often just say one or two things, because somebody will come up to you and say, hey, I'm the managing director of blah, blah, blah. And then that's it. But when I have to introduce myself, it gets a little bit tricky, because a lot of people think, oh, like, how can you do all of these things? But they don't see that everything actually connects to my mission, whether it's politics, whether it's business, my second home, and Simple AI. It's all connected, because at the end of the day, my mission is to show other survivors that our past does not define who we are or who we can become. So from an outsider perspective, you're right. People don't get it, and they often, like, if you're trying to explain it to people, like, they kind of like just lose their thought train after 15 seconds. So I try to summarize it as much as I can when people ask me what I do.
Yeah, I have the same problem. I don't know what I do most of the time. I'm trying to explain it to other people. I guess what I do is try to make it as meaningful to whoever that person is and what's going to be interesting to them, and then let them, understand my full awesomeness over time. Unravel to them over time. I don't know. What has been the most challenging part of leading organizations at a system level rather than just in one organization?
I think systems don't resist change because they work, they resist change because they are familiar. So for example, if we talk about the gag orders, right, in abuse cases or domestic violence cases, for years and years there is this system where survivors are not allowed to speak about their story, and a lot of the times people are not aware of it. So the biggest challenge is to educate people of the systems that are not working, and then explaining to them that how we can make it better. Because the heart, like, it's the steady, it's just being standing steady and people don't know about it. So I think lack of awareness is the biggest problem when we are talking about changes on a system level. And most of the times people don't want to accept when a system is failing because it's too comfortable. It's something that they're already aware, they're very used to it, so it's in their comfort zone. And that's the biggest challenge. First is creating awareness, and B, actually showcasing to people that, you know what, we can change this system. Yes, it's going to be hard, but this is going to be a new way of living life. And that I feel often encounter as a big challenge, because when I talk about gag orders in childhood sexual abuse cases, most other people are like, oh, I didn't even know about it, and I've been abused as a child. And it's like, people just don't know. And there are so many systems like these that impact all of our lives, but people are just not aware, so that's why they're not taking any action. So I think that's the biggest challenge that I've faced when it comes to system level changes.
Wow. Yeah. You've said that your legacy is about making safety, justice, and compassion a promise, not a privilege. What does this legacy look like in your mind?
To create a safer environment where the number of children who are being abused in my lifetime, it's, right now it's 1 in 4. If in my lifetime I can reduce that from 1 in 4 to 1 in 10, and hopefully sow seeds for other leaders to pick up from there and advocate against childhood sexual abuse, that is the legacy that I want to leave. The other thing which I really want to leave is give survivors a safe place, and a world where people listen to survivors and trust them when they are talking about what has happened with them. Because in a lot of cases there's speculation, people often want to dig deep before they find out, but that's re-traumatizing to the survivors of abuse. So I want to create a world where survivors are trusted in one go, and I want to create a world where conversations around body safety is normalized. As uncomfortable as it sounds to a lot of people, if we don't talk about body safety, if we don't teach our kids early on, they won't have the tools to protect themselves. So I want to create a world where children have tools to say no to an uncomfortable situation, even if they know the person who is doing it, and have better laws and repercussions for abusers, because oftentimes abusers walk away with a slap on the wrist. So have more accountability. That's what I want to create. That's the legacy I want to leave.
Now, you made history in your Senate run. How did stepping into politics change your understanding of leadership and advocacy?
Well, it changed my perspective, because when you're an entrepreneur, when you have teams that you're dealing with, it's often about, okay, this is what I want to do. This is how we are going to do it, and then you support your team to do those things. But you don't have to consult a lot of people, right? Like when you're running your own business. But entering in politics, I realized that no matter how much ever knowledge you have, the importance of community consultation. Because when you're running a business, your world is still pretty small, but when you enter politics, you're there to represent the community. So somebody who might not be as knowledgeable as me in AI or NDIS business area, or might not be as knowledgeable in body safety, but they still have important perspectives that are required to be put in places to serve the broader audience. So I think that's what I have learned, that consultation with the community and making sure that every voice is heard is the style that I've taken in politics. And yes, it was hard because sometimes you get really nasty people asking really nasty questions. But as long as I create a space for them to get their ideas out, make sure that their voices are heard, that's the biggest difference between running a business and entering politics.
Mm. The International Women's Day theme for 2026 is Give to Gain. What does this mean to you personally?
Giving has always been, like, the underlying layer for me in everything that I do. So giving is not transactional or not strategic for me. It's something that I can do. So whether it's volunteering on a board, or whether it's giving a hand to my sister for preparing meals because she's just returned from overseas, or helping a neighbor to pick up their kid from school because they're having a busy day at work, it's it's never strategic. So I feel like give things, you give your time, you give your effort, um, just because you can. And when you do that, you often align yourselves with people, you gain trust of those people, and you open opportunities for yourself. So it's never strategic. For me, giving has always been, as I said, an underlying layer in everything that I do. That what can I do to make somebody's else's day better? And I feel like by just giving, you know out of my heart, out of the time that I have, has opened a lot of doors for me. And even though it wasn't strategic, but I believe that you attract what you send out to the universe. So when you give, you gain as well.
Yeah, I believe that too. It's beautiful. In your view, what prevents women from stepping forwards fully, even when they're strong, capable, and ready?
So as you said, a lot of women are strong, capable, and ready, but they they're often, like, growing up, all women or girls are somehow ingrained with this idea of questioning their worth all the time. And we a lot of women, despite of all the talents that they have, they keep questioning their worth. They keep trying to tell themselves that they can do it. And I think that self doubt is the biggest barrier of women not being able to step into positions they want to step into. I believe it's the conditioning of children or girls when they're growing up that then kind of reflects in their personality when they grow up as well. So it's the self doubt, and questioning their self worth all the time is one thing that stops women from stepping into places they want to.
Mm. Your journey shows how courage can shape entire communities. When you look at the woman you are today, what would you tell your younger self in her hardest moments?
I would tell my little Heena, my little inner child, that you're not broken, and what you have been through wasn't your fault. And I would thank her for being resilient, for making sure that we survived the chaos that we survived. And I would thank her to, always look at the positive side of things, because without the little Heena, the inner child inside me, who made sure that we survived what we survived, I would not have been the person I am today. So I really want to thank her for being resilient, and I really want to thank her for choosing to speak even when it felt hard, even it felt like people are throwing stones at you. So thank you, little Heena, for being resilient and strong.
That's beautiful. What message do you want women listening to this to carry with them long after this episode ends?
So to the women who are listening to this, don't just be fearless when it comes to shaping tomorrow. you only need to be willing, right? You don't need to have all the answers. If you feel you want to do something, just go ahead and do it. Take that first step. Even a small step is going to push you forward in the right direction. So don't let other people's thoughts and perspectives stop you from taking that small step, because once you take that small step, you're already ahead from where you were before. So be fearless. Just be willing to learn in your journey and take feedback, learn from people, but at the same time, be honest to yourself and do what you feel is important, and do what you feel is going to create a legacy for yourself.
I love that. That's very powerful. Finally, where can people follow your work or learn more about My Second Home, Simple AI, or your advocacy projects?
I am quite active on Instagram. So my Instagram handle is Heena_Sinha Cheung. People can follow me on Instagram. I'm also on LinkedIn. A little bit less active on LinkedIn than usual, but I am definitely available for any professional conversations around My Second Home or Simple AI on LinkedIn. And if people would like to join my political movement, it is www.jailnotbail.com.au.
Beautiful. Thank you so much for joining me today, Heena. It's been amazing as always.
Thank you. I so loved it. That was amazing.
Wasn't today's guest amazing? Imagine being in a room with over 100 women like her. That's our 2026 International Women's Day events, happening across Western Sydney, Gold Coast, Adelaide, and Perth this March. You'll meet women building businesses you want to learn from. Leaders are solving problems you're facing right now, and the kind of people who become your text at midnight support system. That's not networking, that's give to gain. Find your event at taniagomez.com.au. I'll be there, and I hope you will be too.